Hello, guys.
Hello.
It's us again, Cow and Cat, chilling in front of the Mokoko. And today we wanted to give you our viewpoint on the Mokoko Bootcamp. We thought about it already for quite a while, but we figured it makes much more sense to talk about it when we've actually tried it out ourselves. And more importantly, also got some feedback from actual Mokoko Leaf enjoyers.
That's why we need a week.
That's why we need a week, because we are the quote-unquote experts in perspective of AGS at least. And yeah, there was quite some backlash when the event started, and some of the feedback that was thrown out felt a little bit premature, and therefore we spent some time to actually, as said, experience the event and build our own opinion. And now we would like to share it. First and foremost, the criteria to be a Mokoko is probably the topic that got the most criticism. Because the entry requirements are, they're excluding so many players who actually might be inexperienced. But the event itself seems only to be designed around who's a new and a returning player.
So they within 60 days, you need to log in to be a Mokoko mark. But if you log in more than 16 days, I don't know why they're making 60 anyhow. So then you don't have Mokoko mark, right?
Right?
I mean, why? Why they make that?
I mean, there needed to be some kind of a cutoff, right? So there needs to be some kind of criteria defined, but I don't believe that it's the best way.
Same.
And there were quite some ideas thrown around by other content creators we've seen, also in Discord or on Reddit. And some of them were actually a quite good idea. What do you think?
I mean, when we talked before about this a lot, and one, I really strongly agree that you extend to be a Mokoko, like if you are just returning, and if you log in every week, once per week, but your lost are like 90 or 100, which is nothing. Or your spec is not LOS 30, which will be Omega gatekeeping. Those all players can be a Mokoko lead, but you can drop much easier. For example, if your item level reach to 1660, or when you make LOS 30, or when you have any raid X10 title, you drop your Mokoko lead. I think this is much better to extend this event to Mokoko and to expert.
I've seen that quite some people actually mentioned the X10 on endgame raids idea, which, I don't know, for an example, you don't have Telmine, the light queller, which means you're automatically in Mokoko. I think for many people who are right now gate capped because they don't have LOS 30 as an example, this would already help quite a lot to gain more experience and then of course also make gold so they can improve their character.
Yeah, I mean, you know how much is expensive with the Transcendent and Elixir, everything. So you need gold.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Especially if you're Mokoko, you need more gold because you don't have so much on gold in game.
And then it's like a gatekeeping lobby simulator for you. And this could help a lot. So I think the criteria, if they wanna extend the event, which I hope they will do, then they should re-look at the idea of who is a Mokoko. It will be more complicated from a coding perspective, I guess, because if you just flag someone as a Mokoko who created the account 60 days ago, I would assume that's quite easy. And if you do it with a title, it might be a little bit more effort, but...
I mean, title could be easy, right? Because you have achievement anyway.
No, could be.
Yeah, my perspective is much harder if you have like LOS 30, which is no achievement or anything. Can be a little bit harder. So, yeah, it should be a little bit different condition, maybe, but...
And there's just one thing when we talked about it earlier, which we came up So if you say something like, you don't have LOS 30, you're automatically a Mokoko. Obviously, a lot of alt rosters will suddenly be a Mokoko. And first I thought like, okay, maybe this is a bad thing, but honestly, what does it matter? I mean, our ultimate goal is to make life easier for Mokokos, for real Mokokos. And if there are people in between who are not Mokokos, second, third, fourth, whatever roster, what does it even matter? Because we should not really focus on the few cases where people try to get an advantage out of a system, but we should focus more and give energy to actually helping these new and returning players to make them stay in the game. Because ultimately, we need them. Otherwise, the community will die out eventually, and the game is lots of fun. So I don't want them to leave. I want them to stay.
And also, if you have a very bad disadvantage of second roster, then you can adjust in the later again. So I don't think it will be really big deal to making this.
I would agree. So next up, the event shop. Maybe you can open it quickly.
Yeah.
Lovely cow and cat have to
Can't
wait
see
for a
Mokoko
second.
where. So sad.
Because
Here we go.
probably the event shop is the second piece where people immediately started outraging about how hard it is to achieve and that you can't get all, etc., etc.
I mean, also, it's just like very visual way. You can see 1,200. It just looks too much if you see once and first time. And I agree, immediately can complain, oh my god, this is so shit and too many.
I mean, honestly speaking, my first thought was the same.
Same.
I looked at it and I was
Exactly
like, holy
same.
god, this is so much. But as soon as you start breaking it down, it becomes, in my perspective, it becomes a bit better.
I mean, after one time, probably everyone have within Behemoth. So after one time Behemoth, you can go in your event shop and sing 50. And you need 1,200. Of course, immediately complaining more because I have them. I have a 50, but I need 1,200. Sounds ridiculous, but actually it's not. We calculate.
Yeah, and that's coming, I think the whole attitude is coming a little bit from the good old FOMO discussion, because everyone just wants to get all the rewards, but you don't need to be able to buy out the whole shop. Prioritize. Yeah, go on.
This one. I already bought, so can't show correctly, but this is gold. And you need, I'm not sure can see, 10 you need it, and it's 7 times. So minimum is 70, and you need 1,200. So if we really minimize how much you need, this token is 1,900.
And that's in total 4 behemoth per week. And if you really don't wanna put any effort into helping Mokokos, which is totally fine if you don't have the time or whatever, that's your choice. You need to do 4 behemoth per week. And a behemoth with just 1 Mokoko in a raid, I mean, it's easy. And I would argue there will be people who disagree and say, I only have 3 characters. It's not enough. And sure, fair enough. But I would say the majority of the player base has at least 4 characters on behemoth for which they can actually help. And even if quote unquote help in this moment, you just free carry because you just want to get the rewards. And this is for 10 weeks. So over 10 weeks, 4 times per week you help, and then you can buy all the golds and the 1 relic book, which is arguably the most juicy thing you want to get. So if you break it down like this, it is not that bad. Of course, if you are someone, oh my god, I need to get all the rewards, otherwise my character is shit, and how can I even play the game without buying the shop fully? Then congratulations on being very greedy and not thinking about what the purpose of this event is. Because it's pretty much impossible. There we can be quite straightforward.
I mean, for very greedy people, we also calculate that. So if you buy every roster limit and every weekly roster limit you wanted to buy, including this little tiny silver, then you need 3,740 for all weekly items and 3,550 for roster limit, which means you need 7,290 token in total.
And here comes the kicker, which means 729 per week, but you can only get 720 per week if you have a full roster of 6 characters with hard mode rate.
Which means
Which are
impossible
ready.
to get
Yeah.
everything.
You would actually need 7 characters to be able to go there. So on one hand here, I can totally understand why people are saying, yeah, this is not feasible. But ultimately, you will have to decide what gives you the most value in this shop. We have 6 characters ready, but we will not buy out the full shop. It's not as important for us because, it's a big time invest. So we will focus on whatever feels most important for us, like the relic book. Obviously, everybody wants the relic book. That's out of the question. Yeah, that's all I have to say about the event.
I think people need to a little bit adjust how see this event, because this event within this light of the abyss, and this is a freaking heavy enough. Even I bought everything 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I still have 19,000 token left. But this event, Mokoko Bootcamp, is not same with this. This is kind of a effort. This is sharp. So we don't have infinite money, so we can't buy everything of this item. Also, you don't need it. So here also, this item, same. You don't need everything. Of course, it's good to have everything, but you don't need. And you don't need to complaining about, oh my God, I can't get every week. It just adjust how on which you need the most.
It's also somewhat of a perspective, for who is this event. This event is not for us expert players, quote unquote. It's for Mokokos. So you get a super juicy reward for helping Mokokos for 4 behemoths per week, which, as I said, it's not a big time invest if you go this route. And then you already get a really good reward. I think we all have to take a little bit step back and not just think, oh my God, we need to buy every shop out. We need to get 1000% efficiency from everything that is into the game, because in my opinion, it's not a good mindset to have. We helped a lot of players before this event, and as you can see, if you go to the expert token tab, we have quite some, and we did every possible variant. We just went into Behemoth, did the raids, and it was smooth. It didn't really matter. But we also did lobbies where people had literally no clue about what they are doing. And yeah, then you spend more time in it. And I'm not asking, hey, I spent now 6 hours in this Termine raid. Why do I only get 25 tokens? It doesn't matter, I want to help because I feel, honestly, it's a nice feeling for me. I like helping other people. And this is should be more the intention of everyone. And the stuff you get on top, it's on top. It's not like, you're not, I'm missing the English word right now, entitled. You're not entitled to get all the rewards. You get essentially a reward for helping, and this should be, in my opinion, enough.
Actually, I have a little bit different opinion because I also enjoy people to help, but that's by myself. But after I see this event first time, Amazon pushed me to help someone. I really don't like it. I don't like anyone to push me to do it. So, in that perspective, I also not so welcoming of this event. But
you're not really pushed.
Yeah, it's not about push, but you can visually see this all reward and thinking like, oh my God, I can get. But after you have to help people. But
it feels like you have to.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. But if you really help Mokoko and then listen what their experience about this event, I change my mind. Which is we will talk now about Mokoko perspective.
Yeah, because we always, you can just say an event is bad, but we always try to talk to newer players even before the event and ask what their experience in Lost Ark is, and what they think could be improved, what is working really well. And I talked with one guy a little bit more, and with some others we just had some short conversations.
But in the common problem, they always saying gatekeeping, because
Absolutely.
they wanna play and they wanna experience in real rate, not only watching guide or watching video, but there is literally no lobby they can join and they can survive. Of course not, and they want to experience, but there's no lobby. Literally, there's just gatekeeping all the time.
And you can see a lot of learning lobbies right now
Yeah,
as well, especially
exactly.
for normal mode raids, where a lot of Mokokos are inside. Like I've seen lobbies with 4 or 5 Mokokos.
Okay, let's see now.
Oh yeah, maybe we find some. Would be a great example. And
Maybe no,
schade.
because it's Wednesday. It's the
Yeah.
first raid day.
Even yesterday, when we checked around,
Uh-huh.
there were still quite some learning lobbies. Quite some, unfortunately, were jailed in Gate 2.
Oh yeah.
That's not the topic for today. But anyways, there is quite some lobbies around where Mokokos are playing together, which is a big thanks to the Ignite servers.
Yeah,
Because
learning.
nice. And 2 Mokokos. Only one today, but it's also quite early, to be fair. When we talk to the Mokokos, back to topic, they also found it quite helpful, and I've seen a Reddit post from a returning player who pretty much gave the same feedback. You can play the raid with experts, and you can actually see the major mechanics. Because we all know how pogging goes. You play the raid, you start it, then there is the mechanic, you wipe 250 times. You eventually manage to clear the mechanic, then you go to the next mechanic, repeat. And now you have 8 players in a raid, and 7 of them, most of the time, are experts and do the mech properly, and you can also watch them and see how they do it and then learn from it. There is a small downside, also one of the players said. If you die, oftentimes they are not willing to reset
anymore.
and then you just dead and you watch. However, I believe that this specific player I talked to, he will probably at some point start joining lobbies which are more learning oriented, because he wants to learn, and it's his decision to just join a lobby where he gets carried because he doesn't have the time. He wants gold to gear up, etc. And then he just joins somewhere where it's fast.
Yeah, was thinking. I mean, of course, it's your decision to join just being carried, being hard carried, and not learning everything. But this will be omega downside for yourself. And as a Mokoko, I strongly recommend just open the lobby, and then I want to learn something, Mac or
maybe even for the first week, take the full carry everywhere, see how other people are doing it. Totally fine, but you shouldn't do it every week. At least with one character, you should try to learn the mechs, and if you have less time for the game, get your alts carried if you have some, because some of the returning players have like 3 characters, and they just get carried through with the alts, and with the main they try to learn it a little bit more.
And also, people are a little bit thinking differently, because when you are dungeon entry level, people don't expect that you are really having a high DPS or something. So when you, after honing up your gear like 20 or 30 more than entry level, people expecting you doing something.
Except you have to Mokoko leave. Then actually not.
Yeah, that's why you need to learn more when you are in entry level. If you are higher than, people expecting and blaming more after you dead. Like, your item level blah blah blah, why you dead here?
I mean, it's same for the title, right? You have the extend
Exactly.
title, and then
So
immediately
when you don't
are you
have
really extend?
Yeah, exactly. So when you don't have anything, item, title, it's a perfect time to learn.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, and
To the
this
point.
Mokoko lives, everyone is welcome. And then after you join the lobby, just ask, I wanna learn mechanics, so can we restart after I die?
And if people say no, then just leave.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
if people say no, then just leave. They lost Mokoko token, you're not. So you have the power, not them. So just join any lobby. Probably some of them really welcoming, joining you and say, "Oh yeah, sure, we can restart."
we also had this in one of our raids where we had a Mokoko and it was an Echidna Gate 1 and was a Sork. She died pretty much immediately. And then she was saying like, please restart, I want to play. And for me, it was quite obvious. I mean, the raid is like 10 seconds. Of course, I restart. We could carry for sure, but it's not really what the raid is for and what the experience is for.
Is if the people like having only 3 hours per day, they don't accept it. But I believe almost every players can accept. You have more desire to play than just being hard carried. I also feel more bad when people just want to be hard carried. But if you are really interested to play and then, could you just play restart? I want to play. I want to run. It's just really welcome.
That actually happened to us with the same Sorg in Gate 2. Where I also felt a little bit bad in the end because she didn't die immediately, but I don't know, around 200 something bars or 100 something bars. Definitely before the big mummy phase. And we also just went ahead and cleared the raid. And in the end, I felt really bad for not restarting. But in this moment, honestly, the point for me to not restart, she didn't know the max. It was quite obvious. She didn't know when you get charmed, when you not get charmed. And my recommendation was then just watch a guide first, try to understand the mechanics, and then
just open the lobby and
and then make a learning
lobby.
lobby. Because in this moment, in specific raids, you can't really teach a player everything, except you take like 3, 4, 5 hours of your time to teach it. And then everybody in the lobby has to be okay with it. And this is pretty much impossible except you open the lobby in that way.
Yeah, just don't wanna wait. Don't wait. People open it. You have a power. Just open it. Yeah.
And people will join for sure. And there's there is there's quite some not nice people out there, but there's also a lot of people who actually want to help.
Yeah, if we see the learning or teaching lobby, we'll join.
No, we regularly do this anyways. And there's other people also. We have some friends and they found a Mokoko and they literally started teaching this person how to do solo raids.
Yeah, exactly.
They started streaming on Discord and it's just, there's more nice people out there than you think.
But ask
anyways.
And...
Exactly. And nice people will give you.
Exactly.
But enough of this topic. Let's move on. Otherwise, it will be a 200 hours video. Just 2 things more we wanted to mention from the Mokoko perspective about the event shop, because we asked how much rewards they get because I had no idea, pretty much, and it's kind of funny. No expert knew how much tokens a Mokoko is getting.
Yeah.
Which says a lot about us guys. But I asked, and they actually get the same of what we get, and they can buy the full shop. The only downside one guy mentioned is he is not able to buy the relic book. And of course, you reach 1660 at some point, you lose the leaf, and then you would also try to go for relic books at some point, but it's pretty much not viable right now for a Mokoko to get there. And in this moment, I immediately had the idea, what if you would be able to exchange your Mokoko tokens to expert tokens in the end? I think that would be a nice way to also give them a little push, because then they can also buy the expert shop more if they have tokens left over, or just go for the book. And I think that would be a nice little thing to do and support newer players even more.
I don't know. I disagree with that opinion, because this is more downside than good point for Mokokos, and compare with the second roster players. They're using more this event if they change to Mokoko token to expert token. Is this expert token, Mokoko token is already enough helping them. You know, they have this honing book and this amulet also is quite good. I'm not sure why it's a solar card in. Anyway, just
Wasn't that Lost Wind 30? I'm not
yeah,
sure.
and then Transcendent Elixir is already good, and Tier 4 material, how they get that? Only the Chaos Dungeon, and they have like 2 or 3 characters maximum. So this is also already good enough. So I don't think it's extra to help them compare with the downside more for using this system. That's just
I agree to disagree on this point.
there's always crazy people to using this, so I disagree.
Yeah, I think downside is not so big because even if an alt roster gets one more relic book, I honestly don't care. I mean, if he wants to invest in an alt roster, let's say he takes Adrenaline and then wants to invest another, what is it right now, 200,000? Another 800,000 into Adrenaline relic books and gold, go ahead, just do it. I don't care. But, as I said, agree to disagree.
I think this is already good enough.
I mean, the other point is that as soon as you reach 1660 and lose your Mokoko leaf, you can start helping other people. And then you can still have access
You
to
can
it,
also
but
still have this card pack and then honing book again,
the problem,
which we never get this.
that's actually one of my last point to this topic. When I talked to this one guy, he said he will keep his main at 1659 because as soon as he doesn't have the Mokoko leaf, he will not find lobbies anymore. So for him, getting the relic book is impossible because he can't go to 1660 because his alts will be gate capped because they're not geared up enough yet. He needs more time. And he's 3 times playing the same class, by the way. But he still needs time to invest properly, especially Transcendence. Oh my god, he said he did 10 hours on his main for Transcendence.
Did they know the...
He is using the calculator, yes.
Okay.
I was crying inside, to be
Okay.
honest. But anyways,
God.
this brings us to some sort of a conclusion, I would say.
So what is this?
Yeah, and where do we go from here? Because in my opinion, the event is really great. Is it perfect? It's not. But
Nothing is perfect in this game.
oh no, that's not true. Cat and cow are perfect. Exactly. And there are some tweaks they should do, especially in defining who a Mokoko is. I think that's the biggest piece. Because even though we have quite some Mokoko leaves in the game, it's not. Can you say enough? I would say it's not enough.
No.
I will stick with what I wanted to say. And then, what happens after if they don't extend the event? What is your opinion?
They should make a new event then. What?
Well, I mean, it's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
Obviously.
they just adjust how they downside and good point here from here, and then making new event.
And one of the big points actually about this is people will not help if they don't get anything. Oh no, that's not entirely true. Much less people will help if they don't get anything for it. So they also need to refresh the event shop. I'm not saying, give us a relic book every 3 months, but there needs to be something to incentivize the larger player base. And it can be every 6 months, every 4 months, whatever they see fit. Or maybe it's only the weekly rewards. Then some people will not do it anymore because they don't bother, but other people still want it and will keep accepting.
It just
Mokokos
popped in my
their
head.
lobbies.
Maybe also in next month, like not next month. So this is done in January, right? So it coming back February, refresh everything, but making more higher token. It can be also.
Oh god, I can hear the outrage already. Definitely. Yeah, but something to this extent, right?
Exactly. You can get one more relic book, which is really juicy, but just making harder.
I can see the YouTube comments already.
Wow, it's a refresh and one more event, which is really having a juicy reward.
Yeah, because it's and I'm we're talking about extending the event, not necessarily for the people who are Mokoko Leaf right now, but more for people who also start coming into
Exactly.
the game. Maybe with the next Hyper Express, maybe with the next Ignite server. We don't know what the plans
Maybe also
are right
can
now.
get a completely refresh reward, including the Hyper Express mission, something
Yeah.
combined.
And this
somehow.
is also something because if there is nothing, let's be honest here, there will be many players who just started. They don't have LOS 30. What are 99% of the players doing? And I also include us here, depending on the rates. When you don't have LOS 30, there's a decline button.
Yeah, immediately almost.
I mean, it is unfortunately what it is. The system sucks. If it's, I can speak open for us. If it's a raid where we don't really care about the damage, then I just accept whatever. If it's a new player, but if it's a raid like Aegir right now,
Absolutely
I'm also not accepting anyone who doesn't have LOS 30 because it is ultimately a damage loss, even if it's only 4% with the change.
Even lost level lower, then probably click decline.
That I think you care a bit more than me about the roster level, but still, I mean,
I'm just saying I'm the one of many conditions.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a threshold still, so they need to find a way to keep supporting these players so that they have more time to maybe build a community around them, maybe have people who help them or they play with. And the 3 months we have now, I don't think it's enough in the long term.
Yeah. Need to refresh every certain period. That would be great.
And then hopefully the community can grow a bit and also get a little bit smaller after the lovely news we had today.
Yeah, and then
topic.
probably there is a mood of welcoming to helping new players or something.
Yeah, all that said, that's what we have to say about the events. I think the video ended up longer than we were expecting. But if you are still listening, watching, thank you so much. And we try to make content like this a little bit more regularly going forward because we try to grow our channel. We just started streaming, I don't know, like a month ago. And if you liked us, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel.
And also please visit our Twitch.
Exactly. It's Kappelmas TTV, only Kappelmas on Twitch TV. As you can see in the top left corner, we appreciate it. We stream every Wednesday to Sunday, starting at 7, and then open end.
Even any comment on the below, also very welcome. And a pleasure to talk there. So end over here and see you the next content.
Thank you so much. Bye bye guys.